Hi everyone, I'm Gary V, and I want to thank you guys at Ateneo for inviting me for this TED Talks. I mean a TED Talk with an X. With the changing times, how does one redefine his X? Is it really redefining an X? Actually, what is an X in the first place? I remember a few years back, I was asked to host and to judge in a show called X Factor. X Factor. What is your X? And at this point in time in the history of mankind, that we're all facing this pandemic, is it time to redefine that X that you have in you, or is it just a matter of enhancing it so that it will fit whatever comes our way tomorrow? My X came in the form of something really shallow. I let me just give you a little background on me and what I've gone through in the past. I think all of us have childhood memories that sometimes can be happy, and some may not be as happy as the others, and some may be very colorful. Mine was a combination of all. Okay, I came from a family of 7 siblings at the start, and then I remember growing up in the Green Hills area, Green Hills East, studying in LaSalle Green Hills from grade 1 all the way up to high school, 4th year high school. At that time, that's the system, no? And I'll never forget how one day I just found out that the family was going to split up because my parents were going to break up. This is a common story these days, but at that time, at the age of 12, 13, it was a shocker for me because I was going to move to the United States with half of my family and my mom, without the 2 men in my life that I felt I needed at that time, and that was my dad and my brother. We moved to the United States. Just imagine, a young boy of 13, 14 years old growing up in a whole new environment. And I was in Orlando, Florida, in the United States. And I stayed there for about 10 months. It was also very difficult for me to have to live with type 1 diabetes. At that time, studies were just beginning to rise and to make progress in the field of diabetes. So I came back. After a while, and it was difficult. It was a difficult childhood. At least my early years of being a teenager were tough. I went back to LaSalle Green Hills, which was good. I entered Kundirana, which is the singing ambassadors. I know it sounds cheesy, sounds corny, but at that time, that's all we had. That's where the small X began. Okay? Because for me, that's the first time I heard the cheering crowds. And they would cheer for us. And when we would hear the higher pitched screams, which meant the girls, that was it. For me, that was my X, because it was working. It worked. I could use this voice that I was given, and yeah, I could dance a little bit, and yeah, okay, let's entertain the girls. I mean, the audience. And that's what we did. And it worked. I'm trying to let you know why music became so much a part of my life. And it still is, even with what's going on around. Back then, I got into a program in a school called Immaculate Conception Academy, ICA. And it was there that X was redefined. Because I was put smack in the middle of the show, not as a feature artist, because I was nobody then, but they put me in the middle of the show, and the response I got was not the shrieking voices of girls, but more of an appreciation because of the message that I put across through the song called Magkaisa. This one was written by Juan Miguel Salvador and arranged by none other than national artist Ryan Cayabyab. It was then that I realized, yeah, maybe this is what I can do with my life. It was told to me back in the Kundirana that it would be good to bring joy to others through music. That was shared to me by Brother Gus Booker, and we did just that. I had no idea that would be the reason why I would find my X. To this day, that's where I believe my X is. It's in the ability to encourage people at the point of their need, not just to entertain, which also is a part of it, but to hopefully encourage, like what I'm doing now. Pandemic is now a part of our lives as well. As to up to when this is going to be like this, we don't know. But where does that put all of you? You who have already found your strengths, you who have already found what you want to do. What now? I'm what you would call, and I have been, more of the organic kind of artist. I'm not in the generation. It took me time to get into the likes of Twitter and Facebook, and I didn't want to get out of the organic form of entertaining people, but I had to change. I had to enhance the way I could get into these things. Now it's a part of our everyday life, YouTube. Now Twitter is a part of our everyday life. Instagram, TikTok, Laika is also making its way and already has made its way into the lives of many. So these are things that have changed and have allowed us to kind of redirect what we know our strengths, where our strengths are, and how we can use it. But the pandemic has not only made us redefine our X, but it has taken away the things that have helped us define our X. The people that mean a lot to us, our parents, the frontliners who have lost lives, our parents who have suddenly gone. Even if music has become so much a part of me and is actually my life, this right here, this room that you see is my little world that I have here in my home. I spend most of my time here. This is where I make my music. This is where I pray. This is where I cry. This is where I speak to my closest of friends when I need to let things out. Because like you, there are frustrations I meet. There are moments of doubt. There are moments of anger. There are moments of pain. There are moments of faith-stretching experiences that take place in this room. As an artist, I need to be true to my craft. I allow people to know who I am, more of who I am, by putting my vulnerable state into my music. In fact, there was one person who said a long time ago, I think I know you because I've heard your music and I see you in your music. And he's right. He's very right. I do get inspired by stories of others as well. But if I can somehow find a connection between what they're going through, what I've gone through, and put that into a song and come up with something that can speak to even just one person, then I think that the X has marked the spot to meet the person at the point of that person's need. If I look now at YouTube, which I've been spoken to time and time again, it's something that I need to get into. Well, I have. My numbers may not be in the millions of followers and all, but I'm hitting a good number of people, I think. I mean, if I go through the top 20 songs that people like listening to, the top 12 are all inspirational songs. And what more now that we're all going through this crazy season in all our lives? We don't know when this is going to end, and we don't know when the next one is going to happen. And that's why I stick to what I stick to. I've looked at the past experiences of mine that I've had to go through, and I've realized that they've all been part of the orchestration of that X. It's allowed me to enhance, upgrade, maybe redefine the X in my life. Can you imagine? In 2018, I was celebrating my anniversary, and in the middle of a celebration, the production number, I started feeling pain on my chest, only to find out I had a 98% block on my left main artery known as the widowmaker, and I had to undergo surgery, and I had a double bypass on a single artery. And I was doing well in the recovery. You don't even see the wound much, it's the scars right here, and it goes all the way down here. But then 2 weeks into the recovery period, I ended up being diagnosed with cancer of the kidney. Back into the operating room, and I'll never forget how I was there in that white room, waiting for them to give me something to knock me out, to sedate me. And that's the time that I really just looked up at God and I said, I'm here again. I'm here again. I'm going to be open again. I'm not well again. And it was at that point, somehow I felt him. If I could visually describe it to you, in my heart, in my spirit, I guess it was just him sitting down by me and him also saying, yeah, and I'm here again too. I'm with you. And that gave me so much strength. But can you imagine, how there's so much uncertainty even for me. But what is certain is that in my every tomorrow, the same one who took me through and who saw me through all my challenges in 2018 is going to be with me and is with me up to today. And what's great is that it's not a promise that was just made for me. It's a promise made for you as well. It's offered to you as well. But I can talk about that a little later on. I don't have much time to put all of these things together. But if I were to look into how I've used my music to bring people together, since we're all set up here, why don't I kind of share a little music with you? All right? Let's go. Hey, so we're here right now. I'm in front of my whole setup here. And I've been talking about a little bit about how music has become a part of my life, and how I've even used my being vulnerable or my vulnerabilities as part of a tool to have more of an impact on people's lives. It's not a sign of weakness. It's a tool that's being used to strengthen others. And the thing about music is that it's probably the only medium wherein you can share a message without anyone reacting in between or stopping what you're trying to put across. And so I felt that since it is probably the most powerful medium to do that, you don't even need lyrics, and sometimes you're already affected and moved by music alone. Perhaps by giving you this one song, because I wanted to give you different samples of different songs that hopefully would unite people together. But since we're all going through this whole pandemic together, maybe this song is a great representation of how united we can become as we come before the one who can heal us and make us whole again. God bless you guys, and thank you to the students of Ateneo for this TEDx.